Okay, quick primer on the Ching scale.
Okay. The Ching scale is actually, you know, the funny thing is I actually gave a talk on this just a short while ago. The Ching scale is a relationship between symbol and reality. At the top of the scale, you have the Tao itself. At the bottom of the scale, nobody really knows. It's only been tracked down to animals. So it's a relationship between reality and a symbolic attachment to the reality. So symbol plus reality.
So it has nothing to do, I just want to clarify early on, it has nothing to do with good and bad or right and wrong. It's simply how close you are to
being absolutely real, which would be the Tao.
So we have absolute reality, and we have theoretically total illusion.
Total illusion, yes. And that's it. If you want more.
Well, how about some examples of what we might find along the way?
Okay, so it's a ratio. Back in the early days of humanity, humans were believed to be 60% real and 40% symbol or illusion. That's why symbol is illusion, primarily because it can be changed. Absolute reality cannot be changed. However, it can be shaped. So, and its behavior can be altered. Humans
wait. Reality can be shaped, or its behavior can be altered.
So as you progress from the scale of, from the Tao downward, the Tao is absolute reality, but it's also completely undifferentiated. It is an amorphous, for lack of a better word, thing that we call poo. And so P-O-O.
Okay.
And,
but it's absolute potential.
It's absolute potential. It's undifferentiated potential.
Okay.
And so if you want to use a technical term, as we descend the Ching scale, what we get is differentiation. So the Tao becomes the multitude as it's discussed within the Tao Te Ching. And the Tao Te Ching is actually referring to this concept, which is a far more ancient concept than the Tao Te Ching is. So the descent of the Ching is the descent from pure reality and absolute undifferentiation to differentiation.
Yes.
And that differentiation occurs by increasing the quantity of symbol to reality.
Okay, got it.
So humans were believed to have been about 60% real, 40% illusion.
Hey, that's not bad, huh?
And animals were placed at 50-50.
Oh.
So now what's happened over time, as a side note, is that humans have lost reality and become more illusionary. And so we are believed to now be 50-50. And if you listen to some more curmudgeonly adepts, 40% real, 60% illusion.
That's pretty cynical, but I mean, I can see the argument.
So if you're talking about other things on the Ching scale, at the higher levels you have the three, the mysterious three.
Oh, the mysterious three, what's that?
Nobody really understands what they are because they're at a higher Ching scale, so there's no good way of defining it, even though they're kind of regarded as being God or godlike within the iconographic systems.
Okay.
So the systems that have gods and such.
Yes.
And then within Taoism. Then you have the yin and yang. Sometimes one's above the other. So the yin's higher because it's only two, or the yin and yang is higher because it's only two, and then the three is lower because it's three.
Oh, those two flip. Okay.
So, and they'll flip back and forth. Beneath them, sometimes are the absolute Ching, which are they're very high order expressions of reality, capable of shaping and creating the universe. Now, some people,
what?
So they're known as the heavenly tablets.
Oh.
So they've been talked about for a very long time in conjunction with the Ching scale, and started to have actual records of the discussions around 200 BCE Extensive writing about them around 200 CE or AD. So
Okay.
but the universe, one of the origin stories of the universe is that the Tao had dragons, celestial dragons, so the highest order dragons, carry these heavenly tablets outward, and where they were placed, they hardened the undifferentiated mass into the rules of the universe, and the rules of the universe then created the universe. And so,
Wow, that's epic.
and then beneath them are the gods. Now some will flip it around, but usually that's for cosmological reasons. That's, you know, they're god and saint systems, so you want to put the gods pretty high up on that order. And
Don't want to be dissing your gods.
yeah, you know, but gods emerged within Taoism relatively late within the cycle of Taoism. So, and they mostly are borrowed variations from Buddhism, and to a certain extent, folk traditions through Confucianism. So,
Okay.
so they let's say they occupy a Ching layer. So everything that's at a particular Ching layer, a particular ratio of Ching or of reality to symbol, has certain capabilities and natures in common. That's what determines it. Below the gods are the more common dragons. Below the common dragons are usually advanced humans. So humans that have partly ascended. So by ascended, they move up the Ching scale, so they become more real.
That's the ascension.
Yeah. And then below that are typically demons, and below demons are humans, and then below humans are animals. And that would be the most common manifestation of that scale.
How come animals are more illusion than people?
It's because people used to be much more than they are now. So it has to do with, like, if you look at,
What's symbolic about an animal, I guess, or illusory?
if you look at what constitutes a god, that might help with that. So a god is capable, has complete knowledge of the past and complete knowledge of the future at all times. There is no concealment from a god. They have full knowledge of things within the universe that they choose to look at. And so they possess, that's by definition a god, like a true god Ching layer.
Okay.
Dragons, which are considered on most scales to be lower than the gods, actually have the ability to freely manipulate every subordinate layer of Ching in order to create new things. They're creation devices.
Whoa.
And so they can change one form of Qi to another form of Qi. They play with it. They consume prosperity and abundance directly from the universe. They have knowledge of the future, not as penetrating as that of the gods, but a significant portion, and complete knowledge of the past. They can change shape. They're shape changers. The real advantage to dragons is that for some reason they like humans and are actually believed to kind of be our allies and advocates. Whereas particularly gods, according to the original gods, the early Qing, they're at a different layer. They're vastly more powerful than us. And they're not really concerned with us at all or involved in our lives. Now as the later systems of the iconographic systems came, then of course you had what most people would regard gods as being.
Right.
And
So animals.
well, humans have a certain amount of perception of the future,
Yeah.
have a certain matter about ability to shape and change subordinate orders of reality.
Right.
So they're like a minor dragon.
Ooh.
So they have some dragon-like features. They can exist and manipulate the four spheres.
Yeah, that's true.
So animals don't possess that capability.
I see now. Okay.
So they live within what's considered to be a perfect unchangeable harmony, However, they don't have the ability to manipulate the four spheres. And for that reason, they're considered to be subordinate.
Yeah.
And the reason that you become subordinate is that you have less reality. That's essentially what determines your like place on the scale of illusion or not illusion. So you see, illusion is not really a good word.
Oh.
And it's intentionally, it's a derogatory term in part, but the true word is symbol. And so symbol plus reality. However, most of the time, by saying that the symbol is illusionary, what we're saying is that it's changeable.
Changeable.
And by saying that reality is reality, we're saying that it's actually not changeable, but it is shapeable.
Shapeable. I get it. I get it. So not illusion as in falsehood, but symbol as in changeable.
Changeable. So in theory, a symbol can be anything. And since we are part symbol and part reality, if you change the symbolic layer, the human would completely change. And that can be up to the level of penetrating to what we regard as being matter, down to just being kind of a different person than you were before. Yeah. And so that's all a reference to what's meant by an illusionary component. So in theory, animals are even more changeable. So.
But they may not have the skills or the...
They don't have the capability to manipulate because they're not high enough up on the Ching scale.
Oh, it works perfect. Ooh, I love that.
So the higher you go, the more you can change things if you want to. So you have more power. You have a smaller amount of the symbol section and a greater portion of the reality section. And that's essentially the Ching scale. That implies all sorts of things. It's actually kind of the backbone of Taoism that most people don't understand. And it's kind of like within biology, the backbone of biology is actually genetics. It unifies the different biological fields. And the Ching scale, in theory, if it were more developed, unifies Taoism. But it does definitely unify the theories of Taoism, usually as a casual side reference. But the problem with developing the Ching scale farther is that the Ching scale is an illusion created by an illusion. So yeah, it's something that we as largely illusionary, not largely, let's say, at worst 50-50 illusion, have created to represent reality. So it is purely a symbolic representation of something else.
So paradoxically, the Ching scale is at the bottom of the Ching scale.
Yes, it would be.